Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello and welcome everyone to our second virtual presentation organized by the SART Scientific Committee. My name is Sheikh Atif Masood and I am the Deputy Superintendent and Therapy Radiographer at PSMMC here in KSA in Riyadh. So I will be your moderator for this evening's session. Today, we will be hearing from industry experts representing MVision AI, a company providing cutting-edge radiotherapy AI solutions worldwide. Headquartered in Finland, MVision products are currently used by hospitals across North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Australasia, truly positioning the company as a global leader in the modern radiotherapy market space. This evening, we are fortunate to be joined by not one, but two of their customer success specialists, who will be sharing valuable insights about the company, its products, and how their solutions can enhance workflow efficiency within radiotherapy institutions. Our first speaker tonight is Mr. Hassan Mohammed Hassan. He is a radiotherapy radiographer by profession who transitioned early in his UK-based career into dosimetry. Mr. Hassan had the opportunity to work at the UK's second proton therapy centre at UCLH NHS Trust for several years, and has also worked across multiple NHS organisations, giving him an excellent and comprehensive understanding of radiotherapy treatment planning. Our second speaker tonight is Ms. Rachel Buckingham, a therapeutic radiographer with extensive clinical radiotherapy experience and 9 years of treatment planning experience across different centres in the UK.
Sorry, Akif, I think you're muted. We've just lost you there.
There we go. Sorry about that. My mouse was in the wrong place. Right. Before we begin, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to SART for hosting this evening's event, and to Ms. Noura Al-Bishi, Ms. Zahida Mullah, and Mr. Ahmed Gahtan, and all those who have generously leveraged their networks and efforts to bring this meeting tonight to fruition and contribute to its success. To our international and multidisciplinary audience, we are truly delighted to have you with us and hope you find this session both informative and engaging. All right, just a quick few housekeeping points before we start. Please ensure your microphones remain muted throughout the presentations to avoid any disturbance to the presenters or the wider audience. And kindly hold off asking any questions until both speakers have completed their presentations, after which we will proceed to a Q&A session. Please submit your name, question, and email address in the chat box. We will then address questions in order during the Q&A. If time does not permit for all questions to be covered, the MVision team will be happy to follow up with you individually after the session, inshallah. I will now switch off my camera and rejoin you during the Q&A session. Please enjoy the presentations, and without further ado, I now hand the floor over to our first speaker, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Hassan, to begin his presentation. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'd like to extend a warm thank you to Ms. Noura Al-Bishi and Mr. Sheikh Akif Masood for inviting us to speak at this scientific meeting. We truly appreciate the opportunity to present at this SART rounds, and thank you, Mr. Akif, for the kind introduction. As mentioned, I'm Hassan, Customer Success Specialist here at MVision. Today, we'll be exploring a topic that is transforming our field, which is the role of AI in radiation therapy planning. We aim to make this session educational, practical, and interactive. So don't hesitate to share your thoughts or questions in the chat as we go. So with that, let's get started. And once again, welcome. Allow me to briefly introduce who we are at MVision. Founded in Helsinki, Finland in 2017, nearly a decade ago, with a clear mission to transform radiotherapy through clinically validated AI-driven solutions. What started as a small team of innovators has grown into one of the leading companies in AI for radiotherapy planning and contouring. Today, MVision is a trusted partner for cancer centers across the world. Our technology supports clinical teams in 23 countries, and every year, more than 200,000 patient scans are processed through our platform. One of our core strengths lies in the people behind our technology. Our team brings together radiation oncologists, medical physicists, radiation therapists, and clinical scientists, professionals who have lived the daily challenges of planning, contouring, and maintaining quality in radiotherapy. To support the development of our technology, we've raised 5.4 million euros in funding. And today, our software is used all over the world, including Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, and North America. We're proud to work with some of the world's leading cancer centers, and you can see some of our current customer base here. Before we look at the range of products we offer, I'd like to note that some of the products we'll discuss are not currently available in all markets, including Saudi Arabia. Nevertheless, we hope this presentation provides valuable insights and sparks ideas for future collaboration and developments. Now, let's look at our guideline-based segmentation software, which is built around 3 key products, each designed to support a different part of the radiotherapy contouring workflow. First, we have Guide, our web-based platform for contouring education and training. Next is Contour Plus, the core of our GBS system. This is our clinical grade AI auto segmentation used daily in treatment planning. And finally, we have Verify, our quality assurance tool, helping teams build confidence in AI-generated results and maintaining guideline adherence. Together, these 3 components create the only fully integrated AI contouring system on the market, to our knowledge, combining education, automation, and verification under one platform. We'll explore Guide and Verify later, but first, let's take a closer look at Contour Plus. So, how was our guideline-based Contour Plus developed? We need to go back to 2019 when we first released our prostate model, which worked well. Then we did a study and asked 4 oncologists to segment the same cases twice. First, they done this manually, then by editing the AI-generated contours. Manually, the contours differed widely, especially in the lymph nodes. With AI assistance, the results became far more consistent, with DICE scores improving by about 20% for organs at risk and 21% for lymph nodes. But the study also revealed a critical lesson, that the AI had learned a systematic error from its training data. It included the obturator muscles, as you can see on this slide, which both pivotal and RTOG guidelines exclude. And when clinicians edited the AI contours, they all interestingly preserved that mistake, even those who avoided it first doing it manually. Now, this shows 2 key points. AI can greatly improve consistency, but it can also introduce systematic errors and even influence expert judgment. To address this, we used a data-centric development approach. We built an internal annotation team and ensured every scan was contoured by multiple experts using agreed upon guidelines, and added peer review to eliminate systematic errors at the dataset level. The outcome is seen in our current GBS system. As you can see on this slide, the previous error is corrected and the contours now align with the intended clinical standards. Evidently, one cannot train an AI-based segmentation algorithm which is compliant with the guidelines only with the noisy clinical data. The data set needs to be accurately and consistently compliant with these guidelines. A few key points on our AI solution. First, it offers standardization. The models are trained on international consensus guidelines like ESTRO, RTOG, and SABR to ensure consistent guideline-based contours. Secondly, the system is a turnkey solution. It runs in the cloud, needs no extra hardware or customer data to get started, and it can be deployed straight away. We also offer an on-premises solution. Third, the AI is adaptable. all structures can be customized to match quite extensively your local protocols through our web UI. Fourth, we focus on reliability. The models are trained on a diverse range of cases, including scans with dental fillings and other implants. And this is to stay robust even with challenging images. And finally, the models are kept up to date with 1 or 2 releases each year, adding improvements and new structures. Together, these elements support safe, consistent, and clinically useful AI contouring in radiotherapy. Let's have a quick overview of our workflow. In clinical use, MVision supports both cloud and on-premises solutions. For the cloud-based setup, our service is built with security by design. A connection server is installed on the clinic's network, which communicates with the scanner, cloud, and DICOM destinations like your TPS. And here is how it works. The scan is exported from the CT or TPS. The connection server receives and de-identifies the scan before sending it via encrypted transfer to the MVision cloud. Multiple geographic cloud locations are available specific to your location. The deep learning algorithm then processes the scan in the cloud, and the resulting structure set is returned to the connection server, re-identified and forwarded to your TPS DICOM input folder. This whole process takes typically between 2 to 5 minutes. Once in the TPS, contours can be reviewed and edited using your existing tools. All of this happens in the background, and you will not need to interact with the software. Data handling is fully GDPR and HIPAA compliant. The cloud backend only receives de-identified data, which is deleted per customer agreement, which is usually within 24 hours. And of course, should a client require a shorter period of time, then we can arrange for that. And importantly, no patient data ever leaves your hospital network. So we'll just take a moment to look at some of the contour models that we have. It is designed to cover the full range of anatomical sites used in radiotherapy planning. For CT, we have available models that cover from head to toe, providing coverage across all treatment regions. For MR-based workflows, there is support for key sequences and a range of sites. Together, this provides a broad example of how AI contouring models can be structured to support a wide range of clinical scenarios. And now let's have a look at a few of our models so we can see how the AI works. Here you can see the CT thorax and abdo model, which includes 35 regions of interest, including Sabre protocol structures. In this model, we also offer heart chambers, and on average, this will take between 2 to 4 minutes to generate. We have the head and neck and lymph node model, which has quite an extensive range of structures, totaling 74, but we do have the option to exclude structures in accordance to your local protocol. This model can handle both contrast and non-contrast enhanced scans and CT artifacts, including dental fillings. We have the CT breast and lymph nodes model with over 55 regions of interest. And the contours are specific structures based on the ESTRO, RTOG, and RADCOMP guidelines. And so you can select the structures that fit to the guidelines that you follow in your department, and obviously have access to the various different guideline contours. Next, we have the CT female pelvis and lymph nodes model. And then we have the CT male pelvis and lymph node model. And our model is trained on both the lymph node volumes as recommended by RTOG and pivotal guidelines. And just a brief look at some of the MR models that we have available. This is the MRT1. Dixon sequence, and this offers 8 OARs. We have the head and neck MR model with 57 regions of interest, supporting the MR-only workflow. We have the MR abdomen model, and this supports currently 20 OARs. And we also have the MR pelvis T2 model, which includes 30 regions of interest. And we also have more specialized OARs for the urinary and erectile OARs, including urethra and the neurovascular bundles. And lastly, we have the MR female pelvis T2 with the standard OARs, 18 in this case, to support the MR guided treatments with a focus on brachytherapy. So that was just a quick brief look of some of the models that we have available. And including all those structures we've just seen, through our user-friendly configuration workspace, you also have the ability to create additional structures using what we call advanced operations. The list of advanced operations is really quite extensive. And in this space, you can modify MVision structures and create additional structures. And here are just some clinical examples, such as creating skin markers, pacemaker contours, and likewise organ wall. Our solution is fully configurable and customizable. And another example is the breast crop 5 millimeters under skin, so allowing you to have your volumes ready for planning. And we also have the option to create the virtual bolus.
2 minutes left, Mr. Hassan.
And on that note, this brings a close to my part of this presentation. So then I'll hand over to Rachel. Thank you.
Thanks, Hassan. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining today. So I'll be taking you through our newest release, which is called Workspace Plus. You may have seen or heard a little bit about Workspace Plus. This is our new central environment for all things radiotherapy plan preparation. Within Workspace, there are 4 specialized modules, and they are totally scalable. You can call upon them independently. They do not all need to be used for every patient. They can be used on a case-by-case basis, depending on what you require for your plan preparation for that particular patient. So we're really bringing intelligent automation into your clinical workflow. So this will really start to get you thinking about how AI is allowing our radiotherapy workflows to develop and move to kind of a next generation. As with all of MVision's products, it's designed for seamless integration and is compatible with all treatment planning systems, CTs, and MRI vendors. So let's take a look at the specialized modules that you can find within Workspace. So one of these specialized modules is Contour Plus that Hassan has gone through in quite a lot of detail. And this is very much the same within Workspace Plus. It is our guideline-based auto contouring to provide you with consistent and standardized contours to improve the contouring quality. And as you can see, we have comprehensive model coverage as well. So what's the clinical value? What can this bring departments? How can this improve your radiotherapy workflows? So some of these would be automation. It's guideline based. So this is improving your consistency and standardization, high quality contours. It also makes the process of contouring much more efficient, which in turn means that you have faster plan preparation. Extensive customization options, so you can make MVision work in the best way for your local practice. So this doesn't just mean that our users have the ability to change colors or names, but as you've seen from previous slides, you can actually modify and adapt and create completely new structures as well. Standardization and improved consistency, previously mentioned. The next module is Dose Plus. So Dose Plus is our dose prediction software. It's AI powered. And what Dose Plus is providing you is a prediction of what you can expect your dose wash to look like for this patient, what you can expect your DVH to look like for this patient, and what kind of dose statistics you can expect to receive for this patient. The input is only anatomy and the target that has been drawn by the clinician. There is no beam geometry included in this prediction at all. It's only telling you what should be achievable for this patient based on their anatomy and the target that's been drawn. So it's really driving a personalized planning approach. Again, seamless integration. And the first two models that we have available in Workspace Plus is a prostate model and a male pelvis lymph node model. So what's the clinical value here if you were to see Dose Plus implemented into a radiotherapy department? So the predicted dose distributions have the potential to improve consistencies between different planners. We know that everybody plans slightly differently. So by using these predictions as a tailored starting point, all of the planners are starting in a much more consistent way, and we can expect to see some standardization in terms of the plans that are produced. We are moving beyond a standard template, a standard planning template. Now, these templates may have our beam geometry ready to go. They may have set collimator angles, but they're not specific to their anatomy and the target that's been drawn for this particular case. So what Dose Plus is able to provide is a truly patient-specific starting point. It's a patient-specific template that you can use to begin your optimization process. So we can expect you to reach that optimal clinically acceptable plan much more efficiently because you need to re-optimize less. Other clinical values would be clinical decision support. So the clinician having a dose prediction available to them can support decisions when it comes to margins, patient setup, immobilization, whether they need to replan or rescan this patient based on a prediction. Higher efficiency, faster planning times with less iterations, personalized planning approaches. It could also allow the planner to explore further organ at risk sparing by showing them what should be achievable, where otherwise they may not have explored this OAR. And potentially plan peer reviews. There are some centres that already have automated planning softwares in place, but Dose Plus is able to serve as a benchmark, a plan peer review. The third module that we're going to look at within Workspace Plus is Image Plus. So Image Plus is your synthetic CT generation. So it's facilitating MR-based planning, adaptive cone beam conversion, contrast removal. So the first models that are available here is an MRI T1 brain sequence to synthetic CT, MRI T2 pelvis to synthetic CT, cone beam CT to synthetic CT, and then contrast enhanced scans where we can remove the contrast to create that synthetic CT. Both cone beam and the contrast enhanced scans are available for all anatomical sites. So when we're looking at the clinical value of a synthetic CT and we're thinking about how can a synthetic CT really improve and develop my radiotherapy plan, we're looking at MRI only planning workflow facilitation. So you have the option to have an MR only workflow, but you need the CT data in order to do your dose calculation. So you can skip that CT appointment. You can use your MR data to create this synthetic CT for your dose calculation. Looking at adaptive workflow facilitation. So using Image Plus to convert your daily cone beam into a synthetic CT. And this really supports the clinician when they need to make these decisions on, do I need to rescan or replan this patient because there's been some anatomical changes. We know that the cone beam quality sometimes is quite difficult for us to really make these accurate evaluations on what's happening on the day on set. So by having Image Plus available, you can make a much more detailed offline cone beam review with the availability of the synthetic CT. So really enhancing these kind of processes in the department to really develop your workflows, and potentially considering a SIM-free future. not all departments have access to a CT. We know that. It could be that you have an MRI available, and potentially this could be used for planning, but you need that CT data for dose calculation. So Image Plus is providing you with the capability to do that. And then finally, we have Adapt Plus. So Adapt Plus is your adaptive planning. What it is facilitating is contour propagation from one CT to another. And it does this by using different registration techniques. So really enhancing retreatment scenarios and adaptive treatment planning. It is intended for all body sites. And the first models that are available, we have deep learning deformable registration, conventional deformable, and conventional rigid. So when we're thinking about the clinical value of Adapt Plus, then this is a contour propagation tool. So where do we think we would benefit from propagating our contours? This could be when we have anatomical changes that occur on treatment, and we want to see what the updated contours look like upon our original planning CT. So the propagated contours can be used as starting points. We have flexible registration methods. So the clinician or the physicist or the dosimetrist can choose the registration method that best suits that particular case. Adaptive workflow facilitation, and really the core value here is your retreatment evaluation. So it may be that you have an original planning scan and structure set, and the patient has come back for some treatment in or around the previous area. Now, the clinician would really like to know where the overlap may be. This may support their decision to treat second time round. So by having these propagated contours available, this could support the clinician in these processes. So that's Workspace Plus, but very briefly, I'm just going to touch on Guide and Verify that Sam mentioned early on in the presentation. These are accessed via a web browser, and they're really supporting your radiotherapy contouring. So we have Guide. This is the guideline training and education platform. So within Guide, you have a trainee or a supervisor, and the supervisor can set the trainee a contouring task to complete. They can pick a scan from the library, and we cover all anatomical sites, CTs and MRIs, and the trainee would go in and they would contour what has been set for them in that task. When they've completed their contouring, they will actually be able to see their contours overlapping with the expert contours, as you can see here in shot. So they'll have a visual evaluation of actually where they've contoured correctly and where they may have some room for improvement. So within Guide, as you can see, there is a reference library of multiple scans. All of the contours on here, they are not AI generated, they are expert contoured, and they've been 2 times peer reviewed. So they're based. And the trainee can view the evaluation both visually, but they can also look at it dosimetrically as well, so the metrics can be calculated. And this is very similar to Verify. So Verify is really where our users can build their trust in the AI contours. Within Verify, the user can compare 2 or more structure sets. So it may be that they have a manually contoured structure set and they wish to compare this with an MVision structure set, and they want to view the deviations between manual contours and AI generated contours. And just like Guide, they can view these deviations both visually, seeing the contours overlapping one another, but they could also calculate the metrics as well. And these metrics can be customized, and they can also be exported as well as a file if they wanted to keep this as an Excel sheet, for example. So hopefully that's given you some idea of everything MVision has to offer, and hopefully also got some ideas flowing in how this could potentially develop your workflows within the radiotherapy department. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, both of you, Mr. Hassan and Ms. Rachel. I think we have a few questions in the chat box. We'll start with, I think it's Dr. Rada. She was asking for Mr. Hassan, can you please comment on the quantitative differences between the AI contouring tools contoured, OER volumes and locations compared with radiation oncologists? For examples, are there studies that have looked into DICE similarities index or distance to agreement comparisons? She has a second question as well. Dr. Ghada, you're welcome to join anytime. It's in the chat box, Hassan, if you want to see
Yes.
it.
So perhaps Rachel, you can take that first question. I've
Yeah, she's got 2
Yes.
points.
yeah.
So so within our study that we did, I think maybe you're referring to the first study that was done. I think, did that show 20% improvement on the DICE score without having the note directly to me? I don't know if Hassan, you can stop sharing and I'll just bring that up. So we did evaluate the study where we let the oncologists mark up 5 prostate cancer patients, and they did it first manually, and then secondly they were provided with the AI contours to review and edit. And we did evaluate that in terms of similarity scores. The GBS as a whole, we've seen 95% manual workflow reduction and on average a 20% improvement in the contouring consistency. Regarding the particular study.
Right. And the second part of her question was, I was just flipping through.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the DICE scores. The consistency improved by about 20% for organs at risk and 21% for the lymph nodes. It's not noted here exactly which metric it was looking at. Within Verify, we do calculate DICE score, surface DICE score, Hausdorff distance, and added path length. So they're just a few of the metrics that we usually look at when we're doing our evaluations. Hope that helps.
The second part of her question, bowel contours look very precise. Clinical radiation oncologists often contour bowel bags instead of bowel loops. Can bowel bag volumes be generated using the software?
Yes, it can do that. And just adding on to Rachel's answer to the first question, we're more than happy to send the data as well if further information is required. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, and as Hassan said, yes, the bowel bag can be contoured. So we do offer quite a large number of structures in your default model. So we would have the bowel, small and large bowel separated, the bowel bag, and then this is one of the things that you could customize. So you could only have the one returned that you would like to see. So if it's only the bowel bag, then you could simply untick the others and have the bowel bag only.
Okay, so if we move on quickly to the next question, it's from Sam. Sam, if you wish to join in, you can. Okay, so the first question, again, it's a double question. Which cancer sites, treatment types have you validated the contouring module on? Is there published data on outcomes like treatment planning times, IOV reductions, patient outcome, toxicities, control margins, etc.? First part of this question.
Yeah. So any model that you see on our list there as being available for auto contouring would have needed to have had some really rigorous validation and testing in order for it to be cleared for market. So all of the anatomical sites that you've seen today would have been validated as their own independent site. And these would have been validated globally. So we need to make sure that within the model training, we have really diverse data. And this doesn't just include sex, age, ethnic origin. It has to include a range of geographical locations as well. And this is how we're able to get, regulatory clearance, because it has to be validated for a diverse range of patients. So we do have a separate presentation on the published data. So if that's something that you're interested in reading, I know it's available on our website, but we do have it in a PDF form as well. So we do have all of those current published data is all collated into a presentation. So
second part of this question, to run through these quickly. I've got a lot of questions coming up. What is your experience with clinician acceptance and trust? Are the clinicians comfortable relying on AI outputs, and how much manual editing is usually still needed?
Yeah, so I think this is something that is coming with time, because maybe initially there was some uncertainty when it came to AI contours, but I think now, because it is so well developed and implemented very strongly all across the world, I think the clinicians are starting to really build their confidence and trust in AI. This really is why we have Guide and Verify. It's to build trust in the AI contours. So Guide isn't just to train new users, maybe students that you have. It isn't just for students, it's also for well-established, experienced clinicians as well, so that they have confidence that they are reviewing and editing the auto contours as they should be. So it's also giving them the correct guideline knowledge, so that when they're given these AI contours, they know confidently that they can review and edit them as they should do. And also, this is why we have Verify as well, to help build the trust in the AI, because you could have an MVision structure set and you could compare this to a manually contoured structure set side by side. So you could view where the deviations are, you could calculate the metrics in between the two, and that would really help build your confidence.
Right, fantastic. Miss Noura wanted to ask a question, so we'll quickly bring her into the chat room. Noura, if you can just open your mic and ask a question, and we'll go back into the chat box.
Yeah, hi everyone, and a big thanks to Mr. Hassan and Mr. Richard for tonight's great presentation, our SART round, and thank you really for it. Was very informative and truly appreciated. My question actually is, what's the level of staff training is required before the department can use the system independently?
Yeah, so the training isn't actually much at all, because, and this answers the next question as well, because MVision is compatible with all treatment planning systems. Anything that MVision produces goes directly into your treatment planning system. So you do not need to be trained on a new system at all. You can review and edit the contours within Eclipse or Monaco or whichever system that you are currently using. So there's nothing new for you to learn there. After the actual software is installed, we offer 2 training sessions. One is for the physicists, and this is more for the technical background admin side of it. And then we also offer a clinical onboarding session, which would be for the doctors, oncologists, the planners, and this is to educate them in what models are available, what structures are available, which guidelines have been used for the model training. Yeah, but as CS customer support, we are available at all times to discuss with our users if they have any questions or require any further support. But because the software is not a separate system itself, there's nothing new for you to learn. You don't need to learn a new piece of software at all.
Lovely. The second part of Hussein's question then is, I think it's Hussein, yes.
Yes.
Is which disease sites show the highest performance with MVision and which require the most manual editing?
So in terms of disease sites, the most popular ones are those that normally would have taken the most time. So when you're thinking a really complex head and neck case and you have 80 structures to contour, having MVision available to you for this particular site is a massive time saver. Doing all those really tiny lymph node areas, maybe everything's in close proximity to one another. Manually, this would have taken a long time. So in terms of that being one of the most popular models, I would say, in terms of highest performance and those that require more editing, we always say structures that have really clear borders. So this is bones, anything with a clear border, the AI will perform really well. At times where the AI sometimes does struggle with performance is with structures or organs that don't have clear borders. So this usually tends to be things like the stomach, the bowel, things that can vary very significantly slice to slice, and the borders are not particularly clear. This is where they will need a bit of review and edit. But those with the clear borders, usually very minor edits.
Fantastic. I think the next question by Sam, you've already answered when you were answering Noura's question about the training. So we'll skip to Umar Salman. For ADAPT Plus, is it what we can use for MR-Linac adaptive planning?
So for ADAPT Plus, currently it is contour propagation from CT to CT, not MR inputs. However, I think in the MR-Linac cases, this would be where image would come into play for you, where you could potentially take your MR, convert it into a synthetic CT if you wanted to. But MR Linacs are developing, and I think it's only a matter of time before that is on our roadmap.
Lovely. Again, from Dr. Rada, we'll just try to rattle through these so it can be all answered tonight. Dr. Rada said, are there published results on a white paper we can review?
I have the published results presentation, so maybe I could send that to yourself, and we could distribute to those who have requested it.
Fantastic. Faisal Al-Shamrani has asked, is the software available to calculate dose retrospectively based on CBCTs to calculate what was actually delivered over a whole course of treatment?
Currently, that isn't something that is available within a full module itself. What you could do with the cone beam, you could generate your synthetic CT, and then that synthetic CT could potentially be put into your treatment planning system. And from there, you could copy and paste your plan and maybe just recalculate with some fixed monitor units. However, this is something that obviously is, we are aware that there is a need and an area that needs to be developed here. So watch this space.
So where patients are losing weight or something like that, we can actually take the CBCT and analyze it. That's what I'm trying to say. Fantastic. Dr. Nazim's question again was a clinical validation by clinical study. I think you've already answered. Oh, Dr. Rada again, thank you to the speaker, the moderator for the important session. Okay, Lina Al-Zerikat, I think I've said your name correctly. My question is regarding the synthetic imaging generation. How does the model handle atypical anatomy or bone density variations, like osteoporosis? Since MRI signal doesn't directly correlate to electron density, is there a risk of the model hallucinating normal bone density where it shouldn't, potentially throwing off our dose calculation? That's a tricky one.
Yeah, it is. And we have had these questions before. One example would be maybe if we have an MR brain and the patient has had surgery, so they have maybe an area of the skull that is no longer there, and by producing the synthetic CT, will it try and create part of the skull that actually is not there now because it's been surgically removed? So we have seen these instances before within the validation, and we have had a few research collaborators actually look at limitations such as this. Image Plus has shown that it performs really well even in these sort of diverse or varied cases. It does seem to be able to replicate whatever is seen on the MRI. However, within the instructions for use, it does say that there are particular things to look out for. There would be some limitations if there's really severe surgical changes or severe abnormalities. So these are always stated in the IFUs just so that the clinician is aware. We do say, yes, we are producing these, AI-generated contours or an AI-generated synthetic CT, but as we know, anything generated by AI must always be overseen by a medical professional. So there must always be that final approval and review. So it's just to state that in these rare occasions where there may have been a significant surgical change, or the patient has a particular, extensive comorbidity, then these particular cases would need further review.
Fantastic. Great job. Thanks, guys, for a lovely double presentation. And thank you to the audience for staying with us for the last, 45 minutes, I think. Yeah, 45 minutes. Hope you have a great night, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are.
Sheikh Aqib, I was going to say in closing, if like any departments wanted to actually use the software as a demo and use their own data to see its performance, then we can also offer that.
So if you guys maybe drop, I don't know if the chat will show on the recordings, drop your emails or something, or a contact point. Otherwise, I'm sure the audience can contact MVision and their customer support, and they can probably get in touch with you that way.
Yep.
To have such facilities for their centers for demonstrations.
Yes.
Finally, thank you to everyone, and thank you for persevering during the Q&A sessions, and it's been fantastic. I wish you all a very happy good night, a very happy good afternoon, and a very happy good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
So we can stop recording, Mr. Hassan.